Howdy again, everybody. This is Doc from Thorofan, and I realize I have been away the last couple of weeks working on stuff, with my specialty being more in the small animal realm. This whole COVID-19 pandemic has certainly left us scrambling a little bit to try to figure out what the new rules are going to be, at least going forward for a little while. But I did want to kind of come back and go over a lot of stuff, specifically now as it relates to horses. I've been focusing a lot really on the dog and cat realm, because again, that's where my area of expertise lays. But I realize there probably are a lot of questions in regards specifically to COVID-19 and how it impacts the horse itself. And I think this is a very important topic for everybody to understand, especially with a lot of the tracks shutting down, and suspending operations for a period of time until we can figure out exactly where we're going and what's going to be happening with all of this. So kind of just taking it from the top, basically a coronavirus is so named because of the way it looks microscopically. So basically all the little projections that you see around it and the way it kind of looks under a microscope or an electron microscope makes it appear as if it has a crown. At least that's what the people who named them way back thought. So that's why they were called coronaviruses. And of course, coronaviruses, there's so many different types of strains out there that cause a variety of different ailments. And there is actually a specific equine coronavirus. Now, this particular coronavirus causes more gastrointestinal issues in horses, and we do see it from time to time, but it is not the same thing as COVID-19. So it is not something, when you hear about the equine coronavirus, it is a totally separate type of coronavirus from the COVID-19 virus that is out there. The next question that comes up, obviously, is, well, can horses become infected with COVID-19? And all of the scientific evidence right now that we have in front of us and that they've done through research and all of that shows that there is no evidence at this time that a horse can contract COVID-19. So they've done tons and tons of testing on horses. They have not been able to isolate any of the virus, again, to my knowledge or anybody else's knowledge. And so it does not appear at this time, and we don't think that's really going to change anytime in the near future, that horses can become infected, contract, or otherwise harbor COVID-19 virus in their respiratory tracts or things like that. That being said, it also then goes to reason, and we do not have any evidence of this either, that a horse could spread COVID-19 to another horse or to you as a person. And that's a very important thing to understand. It's the same as dogs and cats. There is no evidence that horses at this time can in any way kind of harbor the COVID-19 virus or spread it back to us as humans. So those are the very important things to understand to start with. Now, there is the slight possibility that your horse could act as what is known as a fomite for the COVID-19 virus. And you really can't see it in this video, but I am sitting right in front of a metal table here, and any kind of object that the virus could be coughed onto or spread onto through respiratory droplets basically can be considered a fomite. And all that means is that the virus then goes to that substance. It hangs out on that substance, and of course, depending on what the substance is, depends on how long the virus can live on it. For solid steel tables like this or very non-porous surfaces, it actually can be a number of days. For more porous surfaces, and the big thing that they've used with this type of testing has been cardboard. For some reason, I don't know why they chose cardboard, but it is a porous surface. They've felt that it can survive for a couple of hours, maybe a little bit longer. So every surface is a little bit different. Here's where it becomes important, though. So in theory, and again, this is in quotes, in theory, your horse could act as a fomite to transmit COVID-19 virus. There has been no documented cases of animal to human transmission in this way, and I don't foresee there being any documented cases of animal to human transmission in this way. So really, that leaves you, okay, well then, what's the real concern? Well, again, in theory, your horse could harbor the virus particles on their coat, in their hair, things like that. But because the hair is more of a fibrous substance and it's a little bit more porous, the virus tends to kind of stick to it a little bit better and is not as easily kind of removed then onto your hand if you're petting the horse or brushing the horse, things like that, and then potentially touching your face or having your face right up against the horse, stuff like that. So while in theory the risk is there, we're really not seeing it, but it is something just to keep in the back of your minds. And there's a couple of things that are actually in favor, especially when it comes to racehorses, when we're talking about, COVID-19 disinfection and things like that. And that is, most horses after they're exercised are bathed. And that's one of the best things that can be done, because you're actually bathing the horse, you're getting any kind of virus particles off them. And hopefully, you don't even have to worry about them being a fomite in that way. Basically, really what you want to do is you just want to make sure that you clean and disinfect and practice good hygiene all the time around the barn. And that means cleaning the lead shanks, the halters, the bridles, saddles, all of that. If you can kind of keep them, with the same horse, with the same group, things like that, that's the best way to operate. If your horse is potentially handled by somebody else, you definitely want to make sure that you are wearing gloves and that you're disinfecting everything when it comes to that setup. In regards to horses that might be kept in barns, especially if you have a boarder or something like that, a lot of times, for the safety of everybody, most barn owners are not going to allow the boarders' owners to come in and see their horses. This is not because they're trying to be mean. It's because they're trying to, again, practice that social distancing and keeping everybody safe, happy, and healthy. And of course, this is going to, every boarding barn has its own set of rules. So you really just need to check with that, especially if you may be moving a horse off the track to a farm or something like that. You definitely want to make sure you understand what the rules are and what may need to be done beforehand or while the horse is on the premises. So you definitely want to check that out as well. So those are kind of really the basic things when it comes to COVID-19 that you have to be aware of in regards to the horses. Again, there is no evidence at this time that horses can contract, become infected with, or spread COVID-19 to another person, or horse for that matter. It is not the same as the equine coronavirus that horses can get. Again, that causes gastrointestinal signs. This COVID-19 virus causes respiratory issues, so they are totally different types of coronavirus, so you don't have to worry about that as well. And really, you want to talk to your veterinarian if you have any kind of concerns. We are the ones that are the experts in this right now. We are the ones that understand things the most when it comes to even coming out and seeing your horse potentially for an issue or something like that. There may be some other protective measures that have to be put in place when a vet does come out to check your horse. So keep all of these things in mind. I'm also going to put up a graphic at the end of this video that kind of summarizes everything, good barn practices and stuff like that. But really, what it amounts to at the end of the day, since we have no evidence that horses can be infected or spread COVID-19, is really just practicing good hygiene. So, wearing gloves if you have to, making sure that you're washing your hands frequently, use that social distancing, all of that stuff is the most important thing really for you to be able to keep yourselves safe and your staff safe. So this is Doc for Thorofan. Again, hopefully this has been a little bit educational for everybody. If you do have any questions about COVID-19 and your horses that you may want to have answered, certainly send us a line at media@thorofan.com. We certainly will try to answer them in another segment, or of course check out a lot of the local veterinary sites, state veterinary medical associations, American Veterinary Medical Association, Association of Equine Practitioners. All of those are going to have great information for you as far as keeping yourselves safe and your horses safe and all of that during this COVID-19 pandemic. So again, this is Doc for Thorofan, and remember, for all of the most accurate and up-to-date information when it comes to thoroughbred racing and everything that's involved in it, the only place to turn for you as a fan is right here at Thorofan.